Okay, call the meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Legislator Hathaway.
Here.
Legislator Burkhardt. Here. Legislator Mosher. Here. Legislator Gilbert.
Here.
Legislator Chartrand.
Here.
Legislator Morahan. Here. Legislator Leviker.
Here.
Legislator Osborne.
Here.
Legislator Nellenbach.
Here.
And Legislator Dahlhoff.
Here. Would everyone please stand for the pledge and invocation? Ian, you lead us in the invocation, please?
Yes.
Heavenly Father, we give you praise for the blessings you've bestowed on our country and our community. We thank you and pray that the material blessings we enjoy would provide a means for us for moral and right living, both for ourselves and our children. Be with our nation as we come into this final week before the elections. Bless our leaders with wisdom, courage, and reverence as they execute their duties. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The October 4th board meeting minutes have been distributed, and if there are no amendments, they stand approved. Report of the Financial Rules Committee for Rule 6. Cassandra, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Finance and Rules Committee has met and they recommend to waive rules to act upon late resolutions.
Your motion, please. Moved by Lisa, second by Josh. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Public hearing. We have a public hearing on introductory law number 5-2022, a local law providing for one-time employee retention incentive payment for certain exempt appointed employees. Is there anyone here that would like to comment on that introductory law?
Mr. Chairman, is that law number 5 or number 6?
I have 5.
It was introductory local law, it's final law number 6. Actually, you have it.
Okay. So that would be introductory law number 6-2022. Any comments? Hold that meeting open for 30 minutes. And we will move on to privilege of the floor. Is anyone here like privilege of the floor for any general comment? Seeing no interest, we'll move to presentations of petitions, communications, and notices. Cassandra, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Resolutions were received by the following: Fulton County, resolution objecting to New York State officials' recent legislation that restricts citizens' Second Amendment rights. Shenango County, resolution calling for an increase in low-income home energy assistance program funding. Resolution opposing the recently passed Concealed Carry Improvement Act. And resolution calling on the New York State Office of Alcoholism and Substance Abuse Services and the governor to provide state funding to support treatment and transition services to individuals with substance use disorders who are incarcerated in county jails. Jefferson County, resolution affirming support for the Second Amendment to the United States Constitution and opposing the recently enacted Concealed Carry Improvement Act of 2022. Chemung County, resolution to opposition to New York State actions restricting Second Amendment rights. Yates County, resolution opposing the New York State legislation restricting Second Amendment rights, regulating legally authorized concealed carry gun permits and banning concealed carry in public places as being an unconstitutional attack upon the rights of law-abiding citizens. Cattaraugus County, resolution supporting Senate Bill S 9509 to eliminate the Farm Laborers Wage Board created through the Farm Workers Fair Labor Practices Act. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Reports of county officers and departments, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Legislators received the monthly highway and solid waste audit reports. They also received the semi-annual apportionment of mortgage tax report for the period of April 1st, 2022 through September 30th, 2022, totaling $202,881.31, along with the warrant. That concludes my report.
Thank you. We'll move on to reports of standing committees. Tom, on finance and rules, would you start us off, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have a motion, and I'll make the motion to move to authorize Information Technology Director Connor Belosi to submit an application to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security and FEMA for the fiscal year 2022 state and local cyber security grant program to improve critical infrastructure security and risk site resilience of government services with a 10% local match.
Moved by Tom, do I have a second? Dick, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
And that's all I have at this time, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Any questions for Tom? If not, we'll move on to Ian with General Services Committee, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have nothing to report tonight.
Any questions for Ian? Thank you, Ian. We'll move to Lisa with Health and Human Services Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to say that there will be a flu and COVID vaccine clinics tomorrow, November 2nd at Program Fire Hall from 2 to 5, and November 3rd at Councilville Fire Hall, 2 to 5 as well. That's it for me.
Any questions for Lisa? Thank you, Lisa. And we'll move to Dick, our representative on the hospital board.
Yes, I'd like to recognize the Employee of the Month, Philip Snow, who works in the activities as a CNA, and he's our September Employee of the Month. In light of our budget discussion tonight, I'll yield to Mr. Kerr, who's got a couple of words for the board.
Very well.
All right, thank you. I'd like to take this opportunity as you are presented with the county budget tonight to acknowledge certain groups of individuals who are crucial in bringing forward the health system's budget to Ryan and Eric. First, all the managers and departments who began working on this budget back in July. And as you know, lots of meetings, lots of back and forth. This is a particularly challenging period for healthcare, and it really required an intensity and focus that has probably been the most challenging in my 5.5 years here. But they did good work. And then the members of the senior management team who have to work with our CFO and I and our chief operating officer to begin taking it to the next level of review and in some cases really challenging some of the assumptions. That allowed us to bring forward a budget to the finance committee of the board of managers. And then subsequently to the entire board. I can tell you that both the finance committee and the board left, I feel, no stone unturned. We had engaged dialogue, probably got close to debate at times. And I share that with you because the systems that are in place to bring forward a budget that both Eric and Ryan can accept before bringing it to you are working. And because that's what you want. You want that due diligence, discipline, and review occurring before it comes to your table. So I appreciate Dick allowing some additional reflections because a lot of people worked on this budget and did some good work. And right up until the final draft, Jeff Hellinger and I were sitting with Eric and Ryan. I would like to say that I came out of there with all the things that I wanted. They did their job, and but we brought forward a good budget that allows us to stay focused on the initiatives we have in place, and you know, create a health system that will serve our community for the next 30 years, and that was the goal when we brought forward the Capitol building project to you several years ago. We, as you will have seen in Ryan's report, we did not build a budget for maternity. And that has more to do with budget process rather than not staying committed to bringing full services to all women of all ages in our community. So we continue to work hard on successfully recruiting both physicians and nurses so we can have a full service rural community hospital. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. Any questions for Jerry? If not, we'll move on to the report of our project managers, Nick Garrido.
I'd like to thank the legislators once again for the opportunity to report on the capital project. From my perspective, this is a very good project. The contractors are continue to work together. Once in a while, they disagree on topics, but they resolve them in a friendly, cordial manner. And again, I'd like to thank the legislators that had the opportunity to attend the meetings, and I'd like to thank Matt and Tim for their help. It's a team effort in the delivery of a successful project for the owner, and that's what I'm experiencing in this job thus far. And Nicholas will give you the update on the buildings.
Thank you. Updates on the buildings, DSS, if you've been by every single day, looks different than the day before substantially. Next year, walls are all up, bricks going on, inside walls are being framed, electrical and plumbing all being roughed in. It's moving fast, which is very exciting. Maintenance garage is scheduled to have all the exterior metal put on, and hopefully overhead doors are coming soon. And down at the highway garage, the metal building for the cold storage is scheduled to arrive this week. It's been a long time, but it's exciting, and foundations for the highway garage are almost all in, and that should be poured here in the next couple of weeks. The contractors are fully taking advantage of the good weather we've had so far, and the wash bay is metal's going on soon. Same thing with overhead doors. Get that enclosed so they can finish the interior rough-ins there. DMV Board of Elections project. GC's mobilized down there. I don't know if anybody's been down. They started digging for the foundations and clearing land to expand the parking lot. As everybody knows, it's a very busy site, so making as much parking and room for people to turn around is important. So things are moving fast, and thank you again.
Thank you.
And I'd also like to thank Jake. He's been a big help with us as we coordinate the work at that very active site.
Any questions for Nick and Jim? Thank you, guys. And we'll move on to the county manager report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The 2023 tentative budget, operating budget, and capital budget has been delivered at 5 o'clock at the start of the meeting. So it reflects really the conversation that we've been having about our, the county's financing, our spending plan, and a lot of the specifics that we went over at the budget workshop last month. So that is, there shouldn't be a lot of surprises in the budget. From this point, it's in the hands of the legislators. So anything that you guys want to change, you're absolutely free to do that by motion. So either, on the 22nd when we have our budget hearing, or any date, if you don't adopt the budget on the 22nd, for example, moves on, you're free to make any amendments via motion, and then Cassandra and Jim will turn into a resolution, and that will be the final budget. So if you've got any questions, or you want to sit down and go over it with me, just give me a shout. I'm always happy to dive into more detail with anybody who's interested. So there's the budget. I want to take a minute to recognize the county had 5 residents who were recognized as 20 under 40 recipients this year, 5 out of 20, when Lewis County really only represents probably less than 10% of the regional population. I think that's pretty good. So you might recognize some of these names. Ian Gilbert was recognized, Mackenzie Lehman, who sits on the IDA board, Jenna Lorraine, who works for the IDA, Megan Dahlhoff, and Herb Frost, two entrepreneurs who are doing awesome things in the community as well. So they'll be recognized at December 8th at the Hilton Garden Inn in Watertown. We typically have a good Lewis County contingency attend that event to support our winners. So anybody who's interested, we did have a good time last year. So,
Care to expand on that?
no,
No.
after the meeting. No. So here's, and the last thing I want to do is just run through, just remind everybody our schedule, because we actually are getting to the end of the year. So November 9th, we have the public information session that we've set up at Lavo Academy to talk about the railroad project. So that's on November 9th at 6 o'clock. November 15th is our committee meeting day. That starts at 1 as usual. November 22nd is our special meeting where we will discuss and adopt the budget. That's the night of the budget hearing. December 6th is, that's at 5, yeah. December 6th is our last regularly scheduled meeting of the year. And then we have a meeting on December 22nd at, what time is that meeting?
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock. That's our year-end wrap-up, December 22nd at 10 o'clock. So just make sure you guys are looking ahead. The Finance and Rules Committee, I'm going to discuss that with you guys going into our next meeting, but we're going to look to cancel the committee meetings in December. We've got enough, we're meeting enough between now and the end of the year without another day of committee meetings. And it's midterm anyway, so you guys are all going to still be here January 1st. So we've got plenty of work to do next year. So that's my report. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any questions for Ryan? Thank you, Ryan. And we'll move on to Eric with the county treasurer report, please.
Thank you. I established a process last year not giving you a written report on budget delivery day. I'm going to stick to that precedent. So you don't have a report, but if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Any questions for Eric? If not, we will move on to the report of the Finance and Rules Committee for Rule 7, assignment fees.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Finance and Rules Committee reports that they have examined the claims presented for payment in the total amount of $2,750,079.16 and recommend that they be audited and allowed for the amounts claimed.
Motion, please. Bill, second by Jessica. Any discussion? All in favor? Anyone opposed? That carries. Okay, resolution.
We have to wait for that local lawyers. Do you want to skip to the proclamation?
We can do that, I guess. Okay, we'll move on to other business, and we'll start with the proclamation commemorating November as Adoption Awareness Month.
Yes. Whereas during the month of November, as we prepare to celebrate Thanksgiving with our families, we join in the nationwide observance of Adoption Awareness Month and focus special attention on those children waiting to be permanently adopted by a loving, committed family. And whereas adoption is a loving, viable way of building a family and providing stability for children who need families. And whereas we must all encourage and recognize that children in local foster care programs need and deserve a permanent home to secure a more promising future. And whereas Adoption Awareness Month is an opportunity to celebrate all families built for adoption and commend the many professionals and advocates that further adoption efforts in Lewis County. And whereas on Adoption Day and throughout Adoption Awareness Month, communities in every corner of the state come together to celebrate the families who adopt and provide loving, caring, and supportive homes for children. And whereas we gather together as a family, community, state, and nation to celebrate and give thanks, it is the hope of New Yorkers that all children awaiting adoption will quickly be placed in a permanent and loving family and therefore it is fitting to support and promote the goals of Adoption Month during this special season of thanks, giving each of us countless reasons to be grateful. Now therefore, I, Lawrence L. Dahlhoff, Chairman of the Lewis County Board of Legislators, do hereby proclaim November 2022 as Adoption Awareness Month in Lewis County.
I have one other thing for other business, and I think maybe
Connor might have a picture to go along with this.
So along the early hours of Thursday, October 27th, I, along with a few other employees of the county's administrative team, traveled to Watertown to the Sunrise Rotary, where Ryan was presented with the Paul Harris Fellow Award. This award was presented to 3 persons that morning who exemplified service about self. Ryan's brother, Mark, proposed Ryan for the award in recognition and pointed out to all just how much service Ryan provides to various organizations and agencies serving both counties. And I have to say, I was truly impressed. The length of committees, groups, organizations that Ryan is on is just amazing. It has to be at least a dozen or maybe 20. So he really provides a service not only to Lewis County, but our whole area. So despite the early hour, we were honored to be there. And Joan is, I asked her first, and her comment was, she's really getting accustomed to these 6:30 departure, the dates to the various things we've been doing lately. So she was happy to join us. So anyways, Ryan, we are honored to be there along with your family while you're recognized for all your outstanding community service. But as we noted to you as we left, we are a little concerned that you might spend the day around Watertown just wandering aimlessly in total bliss. So we felt, we wanted to make sure you got back to the office. So we had Kate ride back with him just to make sure you got there. Again, all fun aside, congratulations on your award, and we're very proud of you. Thank you. All right, we still have 10 minutes, so we will adjourn for 10 minutes and come back at 5:35. Okay, we are back in session, and once again, on the public hearing for the introductory law number 6-2022, a local law providing for one-time employee retention incentive payment for certain exempt appointed employees. Is there anyone here that would like to comment on that subject? If not, we will close that public hearing and move on to resolutions. So there are probably resolutions that we would like to hold.
251 and 252.
Are there any other resolutions other than 251, 252 that any legislator would like to read separately? Okay, so we will move to would someone like to make a motion that we pass the rest of the resolutions as a split? Second by Lisa. Whoops, sorry. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Slate carries. And we'll go back to 251.
Resolution number 251-2022, auditing and allowing claims in the amount of $2,750,079.16.
Moved by Lisa, second by Dick. Any discussion?
Just that I have to recuse myself from anything that goes to my office out of this portion.
Okay. We move on to a roll call.
Legislator Mosher,
Yes.
Legislator Chartran,
Yes.
Legislator Gilbert,
Yes.
Legislator Hathaway,
Yes.
Legislator Leviker,
Yes.
Legislator Morahan,
Yes.
Legislator Nellenbach,
Yes.
Legislator Osborne,
Yes.
Legislator Verkler,
Yes.
and Legislator Dahlhoff.
Yes. Resolution number 252.
This is resolution adopting and otherwise treating local law number 6-2022.
Moved by Lisa, second by Dick. Any discussion? And this is a roll call.
Legislator Osborne,
Aye.
Legislator Chartran,
Yes.
Legislator Nellenbach,
Yes.
Legislator Verkler,
Yes.
Legislator Leviker,
Yes.
Legislator Mosher,
Yes.
Legislator Morahan,
Yes.
Legislator Gilbert,
Yes.
Legislator Hathaway,
That should never get to me.
and Legislator Dahlhoff.
Yeah. Okay, that's the resolutions, and my understanding is we would like an executive session
Very quick.
on
Contract negotiations.
motion to go into executive session. Lisa, second by Jeff. Any discussion? We're in executive session.
It's about that.